Welcome everybody to our call today. And again, we have a fun power pack call with a special guest. But before we start, just to remind everybody, these are our Empower calls. These happen every week to empower you all, to give you a story for inspiration, for life-changing opportunity. I want to first and foremost welcome Mahir as you're on the call. And so I thought before I kick off, I'll give you the opportunity to say a few words.
Thank you, Shazia. It's always a pleasure to be here and support you guys and this amazing sessions that you guys do because it really is beneficial to everyone that man or woman, anyone that joins these calls will benefit from them. And it's great to hear the stories of the people you're inviting. Can't wait to hear today's story. But Shazia, this is all thanks to you for all your hard work and efforts that you've done. And we greatly at QBN, at Q Minds, greatly appreciate putting all of this together. I know it takes time and dedication, and you set the best example of a successful, amazing entrepreneur. So looking forward to hearing today's session, and welcome everybody.
Thank you, Mahir. And just everybody, like we do every week, and as Mahir said, I will reiterate, we are here to inspire, to share stories that are real for an impact on lives of everybody and anybody. Empower is a movement. The idea is that if you can take away one tool, one technique, one strategy, then the impact is there. So once again, welcome to everybody. It's always amazing to see you come and absorb what we give. I'd like to introduce to you a phenomenal individual who is here to share her story. Noor, as I call her, her full name is Noorulain Zafer, but Noor, she's an accomplished academic leader. And when I say accomplished, she has grown in multiple aspects over not so many years because she's still very young. And she not only has the academic background, but is also an entrepreneur. So she has the fusion of the two. So her areas of passion, essentially, although it is education, it's also business. And she's very passionate about going green and sustainability and climate change, which is integrated in everything she does. So again, forward thinking, futuristic, and very, very international. So our international audience will also get that as well. I'm not going to take too much of the spotlight away because the whole idea is she shares her story. So welcome, Noor. We've got a jam-packed 30 minutes, a spotlight opportunity for you to share who you are and how you're here, and really just to give everybody in the simplistic terms how they can too be like you. So the stage is yours, Noor.
Thanks, Shazia. Thanks, Mahir. It's so great to be here at Empower. I remember that when Shazia was actually thinking about, setting up a platform, and I was like, go for it. Because wherever I think like-minded people, men and women, both join in and they speak about, what their struggles are, what their life stories are like. It's just really, really inspiring. And I think to take time out on a weekday to just focus on some self-reflection, to focus on where we have come through, just looking back, like you were saying, at the journey. It's always been bits and bobs here and there, puzzle pieces coming together. But what today's session I want to focus on, I know it's 30 minutes, and this is the ideal 30 minutes that you should have, not focusing too deep and not going into too much detail. But when I was thinking whether I should be sharing a story or whether I should be giving you guys a tool to take back with you, I thought maybe the latter is something that will be more useful. The stories can come in, they can blend in as well, but some things from, I guess we all experience a learning curve with individuals who are more senior to us and then individuals who are more junior to us as well. So today I thought we'll speak about, something which perhaps everybody who's on the call and would be looking at the recording later on um, faces, goes through. So we'll talk about some stereotypes. We'll talk about certain, career decisions that you would have taken where you would have heard from people whether that was the right choice for you. Maybe some life decisions that you have taken and you have doubted yourself whether that was something that is a correct life decision. We'll speak about certain taboo areas. So maybe some areas where we feel that, certain roles are more fitted for, let's say, men, and certain roles that are more appropriate for women. So I thought, let's just talk about that. So like Shazia mentioned, I don't think I'm really young. You could see the white hair. So there is, as they say, some as you get older, you get more wisdom, you get more wise. However, I think the journey for me has been uh, really, really calculated and pragmatic, but it has not always come with the decisions that I thought, or the outcomes have not come the same way as I would have thought. So there has been a lot of recalibration that I've done. Um, I was trained to be a business person, so setting up other people's business. I went to a business school, the best in the country where I belong from, and it was just very set, a boxed approach, right? You're being trained to run somebody else's business. And that's what we did for quite a lot of years, almost a decade, and a bit more than a decade. But there came a point where I just realized that people see me a certain way and they see me in a certain box. I could be um, very useful to somebody else's business because my area of expertise was marketing and branding, and I was with an educational provider, and I was doing a lot of counseling and meeting a lot of students, professionals, etc. But then it started getting, that box started getting a bit too small. And it's looking for more opportunities and looking for certain options. And I think that was the first stereotyping that I faced. And I don't know how many of you, but most of you would have faced or maybe experienced that we get too comfortable in that job role where we're making good money. You're not putting in that much effort because you've learned the trade, and you know the tricks of the trade, and you're pretty sorted in terms of what is expected of you. So effort wise, it was pretty much, I knew it at the back of my hand. But the box started getting smaller. And that is where the biggest decision for me was that I wanted to, just go entrepreneurial. I wasn't hopping from a job to another job. So what you see behind me on the screen, it is exactly my motto. I said, I'll just get up, I'll work hard. And most people said that, when you're going entrepreneurial, the first 3 years, you're just going to fail, 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 right? And you're not going to make any money. But get guess what? When you're going into a service sector, and that's what I keep telling everybody, and I do enterprise training. I've done it for the later 10 years of my life. I always tell people that when you're going in the service sector, all you need is a laptop and your brain and an idea that is so, so unique, that is so, you could say, out of the box, and it is addressing a real problem that people have to uh, address. That is essentially your work done. And you should just start doing, I call it a zero budget marketing. And the best marketing is that just go through your network and start connecting with people, which doesn't take a lot of money. And that enterprise essentially was where I struggled with a lot of stereotyping, which is that businesses do not succeed in the first 3 years and you would not break even and it would be a loss. Um, However, what I really like, what, the entire QBN and the Empower platform, and I've learned this from Shazia as well, that if you're compounding your efforts, if you are calculating, evaluating the time, the man hours, the idea that you're putting into that particular provision, that is essentially what you need to capitalize. And that is how you end up doing the right pricing of any service that you're offering. You do a right rate of a session that you are planning for anybody. If it's a training that you're providing, it helps you in quantifying the effort versus the value that you're going to deliver. So that's essentially, I proved everybody wrong in the first month,
But
in the
Noor,
first
I just
15
wanted to
days. Yeah,
interrupt you
go
for a
ahead, go
moment
ahead.
because I
Yeah, yeah.
feel the audience would benefit that you've described precisely what people say, and you
Yeah.
obviously broke the barriers and chose to move ahead. I know a lot of people sit on the fence on that
Mm-hmm.
decision. And so I just
Mm-hmm.
want to take you a little bit back. When you made
Yeah.
that transition, just for
Yeah.
the average person, would you now go back and say, leave your job and jump? Because I know that's something I did and it works for some. Or do it simultaneously, parallel to, and then transition once they have, I know in the previous calls as well, once you've generated the same amount as your day job, then transition in. Just because I know that there will be a lot of people who are still undecisive, and that's why
Yeah.
we empower her to help them make that transition.
It's a really simple math, Shazia, and thank you so much for sharing that. It's a simple math. And I did the math for the 6 months. I said, these are my expenses for the 6 months. This is my absolute must-haves, right? I cannot do without, let's say having dinner from outside twice a week. Okay, that was a must-have for me. Another must-have was that my daughter shouldn't be neglected, whatever her expenses are should be met. So I did a math and I got a certain number and I split it over 6 months, right? And that was how much I needed to make in a month. So when I had that amount in the kitty, that was my safety net. So when you're jumping and when you're making, and if you have a couple of leads, there is some groundwork that needs to be done. One is the math of your expenses that you calculate. The other thing is if you have leads that you can convert so that you don't tap into your safety net. And I will share a tool just about now that really helped me to understand, because I think another question that we could perhaps, use the chat box and see if anybody wants to share. Let's do a round of hands, or you can say yes or no in the chat. How many people are on the fence and they don't know what is a service that they can offer? Or they have too many ideas. If you have too many ideas, okay, we have one hand. Okay,
And the
too many
chat is also
ideas.
enabled. So anybody
Chat
who
is
wants to use
enabled, so you
chat
can say
box, you
me
should
and
be
you can
able
say
to
yes.
put some questions in as well.
Yeah. So how many of you, let me repeat the question. So I see Paula, Carmen, Ari, Patricia, Mahir. There are other people there that I see also here. So if you can say that, there are too many ideas, then say me. Or the other question is there's no idea that I have. Because that also happens. I don't really know what I'm good at and what is it that people would perhaps like to buy or purchase, or if it's a value that I like to give. I see one hand went up that, what is a service? But then, so we'll give it some time that, let's see if people can speak about too many ideas. Yeah, that really happens. And for some, I think it's really about that there is no idea. Whatever your particular situation is, right? The no idea, I believe, is just a blocker in your head, in all of our head. There is always something that people need help with, right? If it's not directly, then it's indirectly within their circle of influence. Somebody would need something that you are the best person to identify and realize. Wonderful, Natasha. I just love that, right? So you thought of a product, right? Now it's really about whether people have a real demand for it and what does your math look like. So I'm going to, Shazia, if you can allow screen sharing to me, that'll be really good, because then
You
I'd be
should
able
be
to.
able to share as I
Now
make
I
sure.
can, absolutely. So I'm going to share a simple tool because that is something that will help. Now, how many of us on the call have seen this particular window? Just use the chat box, the Johari window. And if it's a no, I'd really appreciate no. I can't really see hand raised this, but if anybody has come across this tool, say yes or no. Okay, Isabel, no. Brave person, Isabel. It's always difficult to say no. Wonderful. We're getting more no's. Yeah. Oh, wonderful. I have so many brave people on the call that calls for a round of applause. So this is again something. I'm going to zoom it a little bit. This particular tool was the one that I came across in one of the trainings. And like the name suggests, it's a window to your own self. So it's a very self-reflective tool that enables you to understand, how do I look to people? Right? We're all, how we're getting ready for the call, right? And everybody said, all right, are my hair spick and span? Shazia would have said, let's put up a lipstick. Patricia would have said, let me put these earrings, these pretty earrings today, and then hop on to the call, right? So all of us try to put that people persona that we're going to look nice, right? But the other side of this is whether I look good to myself or not. So this particular Johari window is a tool that's on a matrix, right? So you see the two axes, the X and the Y axis, right? Um, the Y axis essentially tells you how people perceive you. So if you look if you look vertically, you'd see that how you are known to people, right? What they think of you and what they don't know about you. And then on the horizontal axis, you'd see that how do you perceive yourself, and what is something that is known to yourself, and what is something that is even not known to you. So these four quadrants essentially is what we all need to reflect on as individuals and try to understand. And we are going to take 2 minutes and do this exercise, all of us, right in the call live. And we'll share some of our reflections, okay? We'll go one by one. So let me explain the quadrant. So the first quadrant is the arena. It is your stage. It is something about yourself that you know about yourself. So Ari could say that, I am a really good speaker and people know that about me, right? Shazia could say, I have a really good convincing power and I'm brilliant with my words and I can do really good convincing for people, and people know that. They'll come to her for advice. They'll call her up for advice. So one attribute, one characteristic about yourself that you know and they know, okay? They mean people. All good? Do we have thumbs up? The arena is clear? Yes? The second quadrant is something that people know about me, but I am not really sure about it. And this might take you to maybe your teenage years, or maybe even now. People will tell, oh, Isabel, you used to be, so outgoing, and now you're not that outgoing. I'm just giving you an example, right? And then Isabel would say, okay, maybe I was outgoing before, but I'm not really sure whether I'm that. That is your blind spot. An attribute that people know about you, right? But you don't know about yourself. Then we have the bottom two. One is the facade. So you know deep down something about you, yourself, and people don't know, or maybe you hide it from people. For instance, Carmen can say, I am really, really emotionally intelligent, and I can assess when people are feeling sad or happy or upset or they need my help. But you don't really come out and say that to people, okay? Or maybe you could say, Patricia could say that, maybe, sometimes some things that people say, I feel them so much. I'm really, really emotional, but I put up a strong face and I don't let people see how I'm feeling, right? So something that you know about yourself, but people don't know. And then the last one, the area of growth, I'd call it. Something that you don't know about yourself, and then people also don't know. And this is where all of the breakage and all of the shackles and all of the stereotypes and the taboos break, right? You don't know, and they don't know as well until and unless you try. So these are the 4 quadrants. Now I'm going to take a minute or so, and if everybody could quickly take a piece of paper. I know most of you are sitting with pens and papers. Just take a piece of paper, or just in your mind even, or just on your phone. Let's try to put one characteristic, one personality trait in one of the quadrants. And let's do that. And let's see what we can pick up the quickest. Which quadrant can you fill up the quickest? And which is the hardest one? Let's go. Time starts now.
Hola. Pues nada, yo solo entendí los 2 cuadrantes, los 2 primeros. ¿Me escuchas? Vale, los 2 primeros, y pues yo me identifico con el de aquí, estoy seguro porque sé lo que tengo, yo soy muy emocional, me gusta ayudar a la gente, pero no lo exteriorizo.
Do we have a
Could you
translation,
translate?
Shazia?
Because I wouldn't be able to respond. I know
Yep.
Amahir is there, but I can't see him. If you don't mind, Ari, I don't know if you could, and you should be able to unmute yourself. Or Isabel, either of you. Ari, thank you.
Hello. Patricia says that she's very emotional and likes to help people, but she doesn't demonstrate it at all.
Thank you for sharing, Patricia.
Except for herself, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant, Patricia. Thank you for sharing.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Thank you,
That
Ari.
usually comes in that quadrant. A lot of us have that attribute in that particular quadrant, right? But think about the other 3 also, Patricia. So think about the first one, the second one, the third one you have done, and then the 4th one. And we should have around 30 seconds. And if everybody's done, if we could have like a thumbs up that everybody's done.
Entendí el primero, los atributos de uno mismo, ¿no? Dices el primero que son los atributos que yo puedo tener. Es que los 2 últimos no los he entendido.
Said she understood the first 2, but not the second 2.
Patricia,
Okay.
Dime.
básicamente el tercero y cuarto es tu fachada, ¿ok? Lo que tú sabes y los otros no saben de ti, como justamente lo que decías respecto a ayudar. Y en el cuarto es lo que no sabes, ni tú ni ellos. Y es ahí donde se sale de la cabeza y uno rompe patrones y estereotipos y cosas, como decía.
Thank you.
Así es.
Thank you, Ari. Gracias.
Vale, pues de lo que yo no sé de mi fachada, que la gente no sabe, es eso, que me gusta ayudar a la gente, que soy muy dada a dar, pero no lo puedo exteriorizar. Tengo muchas ideas en la cabeza, pero a la hora de ir a hablarlas, a exteriorizarlas, me nublo, no.
She says she likes to help the people, but so she has a lot of ideas in her head. And at the time of explanation, sometimes it gets cloudy or confusing with so many ideas.
Wonderful, wonderful. And that's what
Gracias,
essentially.
Patricia.
Sí, otra cosa, a mí me dicen que yo soy, es que extrovertida, y yo no me considero extrovertida, yo creo que soy introvertida, pero la gente me considera extrovertida, pero yo no me lo veo, que yo sea extrovertida, porque
Oops, is muted.
Accidentally muted.
Vale. Que eso, que la gente dice que soy extrovertida,
Sí,
pero
sí, sí, lo entendí.
yo no soy eso, ¿vale?
She says that people says that she's an extrovert. However, she feels that she's an introvert.
Wonderful. So
Great participation, Patricia, because you've kind of been able to elaborate both from the Spanish and English perspective. So that will help everyone. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's get back. I think everybody would have some things in their four quadrants. So let's use the chat function and let's see what everybody got in the arena. What do people think about and know about themselves? And then people know about themselves as well. So just use the chat function and try to like type in what people know about you and you know about yourself as well. Wonderful, Natasha. Excellent. I love that. Resilience. Shazia is an educationist. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. We're just talking about the arena. So let me just zoom. We're just talking about the first quadrant, an area which is known to yourself and it is known to others as well. What about others? 17 people on the call. We should have at least 15-ish comments on this. Let's talk about this. This is your outward personality. This is something that every one of us would be able to know, right? And people know this about you as well. Whether you're a good communicator, whether you're somebody who's resilient, going through a lot of hardships, and you would, understand this. Wonderful. So, I avoid difficult conversations. Yes, people know that about you as well. That's wonderful, right? Um, this is the self-reflected. This is basically your strong point. Wonderful, Ari. Management skills. People know that about you, and you should capitalize on that. And you yourself know about this particular skill as well. This is the area where it's your biggest strength, and you can actually capitalize on this. Think about a particular tool that you can use. Think about a particular business proposition that you can build on this particular reason. Let me give you Shazia's example, right? So Shazia knows that she is an educationist. She'd go around looking for opportunities that are within the education space, whether that's training, teaching, setting up a school or a college for somebody. This is the kind of services and skill sector when you're thinking about setting up and being your own boss. This is the area which you should capitalize. Now, let's talk about the second one, the blind spot. Okay. Something that people know about you and you don't know. And you'd say, Noor, how would I know that this particular area? Think about all of the conversations that you have had with your friends, with your family, in which they have come and they have come to you and given you a suggestion or given you some food for thought, and given you some kind of a booster that this is something that you're so good at, Natasha. Why don't you go ahead and do this particular thing? Yeah, wonderful. That's exactly what we're talking about, right? So Natasha says that, she's very artistic and she can create things and she should really be pursuing it. But you're undermining yourself. You're saying, this is something that, everybody does. It's not a really big deal, right? And we tend to like overlook it. It could be with any particular thing. Let me tell you that, a lot of people that we face with, some people are really, really threatened by technology, right? They'd say, oh my God, let's not use this tool. How many of you are in that same boat? If you have to download a new app to, work a certain way, how many of you would be a little bit, I don't know whether I'll be able to like access this. Oh my God, AI has taken over. I don't know how to work on Chat GPT. I don't know what Claude is or what Grok is or what, 10,000 other tools are. But remember that when the internet also started, right? All of us were also, just struggling. And we struggled. But look where we are now. We're connected all across the globe and we're sitting in a platform and we are actually embracing it, right? We're actually connected with each other around that. Take the example of Cubian. People knew that this is going to be something that could really benefit people, but we were a bit doing our due diligence, doing our homework, and we still know a lot. All of us on the call, when we are in a discussion on how to do smart investment, all of us would be like, we know how useful this is, but then the other person would be like, I don't know, I'm not too sure. And this is what, it's happening in the chat as well. You'd see that this is a blind spot. This is something that we need to shrink it. You need to let go of this particular, you could say, a hold up, a speed breaker, a shackle. And this is something that you need to break out of the spot and try to work on so that you can capitalize on that. Does it make sense? Yes? Let's move on to the last two. All right, let's talk about the third one. Something that you keep to yourself. Yeah? You keep it hidden. You know this about yourself, but people don't know this about you. Go on. Let's see if we get some ideas. What is something that you know about yourself that people don't? Patricia shared something. She said, that she's emotional and she doesn't like, yeah, Natasha, absolutely. And you don't want people to know this. It's a good thing to have. Yep, yep. Can we get a few more responses? Oh, artistic sketch. Yeah, wonderful, Shazia. Wonderful eye for detail. I'll give you another one for Shazia. She's very good with interiors. So she has an eye for setting up the interiors really well. You wouldn't know that about her. Okay, wonderful. This is a very good one. We are really, really scared of failing. This is also a facade that we put up really well. Some people just don't like failing and they don't want to disappoint, their family members, and it really, really upsets them if life gets on the way. Legitimacy. Oh, wonderful, Mahir. Very good, right? So this is something that you know about yourself, but people don't know this about you. People would say, oh my God, look at Mahir. He's always spick and span. He's always so well dressed. He's always so well spoken. He smells lovely. But then they don't know that it would have taken you an hour to, particularly choose a particular belt or a particular cuffling. Isn't that so?
Are you actually, can I tell you something really funny? I use AI sometimes to help me get dressed. I'm not the only person, but I said.
So you see, yeah. So you see, the
But
tool
also
works.
with Mahir, it's also that I would say not known to others that he's very good at salsa dancing.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Can somebody also translate what Carmen is saying? Because I'd really like to understand what she's saying.
Carmen is saying, soy buena haciendo música. She's good at making music. Thanks to AI, she's making her own productions, and she loves for people to know it.
Oh, wonderful. So we need to, so Carmen, this is so important because your facade actually has an opportunity to go to the arena. To go to the arena bit. You can actually take.
Going there. It's going there.
Yeah.
She's slowly, gradually, I'm watching her on Instagram and putting it out. But
wonderful. So when we talk about how you're going to use this to make something self-sustainable for you and make some money out of it, this is essentially what you need to do. It's not look at all of the you could say the solopreneurs, or look at all of the influencers out there in the world. Look at all the comedians. Look at all the artists. They took up one thing that they were really, really solid on, and they took that and put it into the arena. They put it at the stage. And they used social media essentially to make a very, 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 very good living out of for themselves. Let's talk about the last one quickly, and then we'll wrap up. Think about the unknown. Okay. This is the hardest quadrant to fill. because this is futuristic. This is something that you have to think about. How does my life look like 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? Where do I see myself in the future? And this is the hardest one, right? For some people, let me give you a for instance. For some people, for some of us, it would just be, I want to retire in 5 years' time. But for that to happen, there's a lot that has to happen today, right? So, how am I going to take those tiny steps? This is an area for growth. It could be a career move, whether that's going to work for you or not. In my case, it was moving countries, completely unknown. I didn't know whether the universe didn't know, and I for sure didn't know whether it's going to end up well or not. And it could be such instances that you put in the unknown space, but that's the space where you have to grow. So if it's learning a new tool, if it's learning or going in a particular direction, if it's using your existing knowledge to, let's say, embrace technology. For a lot of people, for a lot of us here on the call today, it could just be, the unknown could be technology for sure. And just look at ways in which we are interacting. Exactly. Trading was unknown, Shazia. I think trading has gone for you for being unknown to perhaps, I'd say, facade, because you know it now, but people don't know that you could trade, or perhaps you
But I
need a
didn't
little
know
bit more
either
work.
that I
You didn't
could,
know
because this
a
was
couple of months ago.
the
Absolutely.
desire. And I just
Absolutely.
thought that I didn't know. But now it's so that's why I put it there, because it's you're still like, oh, am I doing
Ooh,
the right thing?
exactly.
I'm investing time and energy. Is it, but there's a lot of
So,
space for growth there still and for self-discovery. But
wonderful. Oh, wonderful. Ari, so exactly below the side. Oh, very specific. Yes, but you don't know whether that's going to work or not, and you're scared. That's fine. The whole idea, exactly, the whole idea of this tool is, and it's such a wonderful tool. Every time in your life, if you're going to just look at the Johari window, you're going to have different things in each quadrant, right? You're the same person in the middle of it, but your circumstances with age, your situation, where you're in at your life journey, it's going to give you new answers and new reflection points. It could be even with days. Sometimes in some situations, I've just experienced this that a month ago I've done this window and there were different things. And a month later, it was completely flipped, right? And this is what happens when we are looking at generally life. We just have one life to live and we want to live it to the fullest, but then we want to also make decisions that are very, very conscious. Oh, I just love this, Isabel. I just love this, Isabel. And don't you agree that, how life was 5 years ago, you would have filled out these boxes very differently, very, very differently. And now you would, look at things a lot more differently. And it gives you an insight into what is it that you are strong with, and how is it that you're going to take that tool and sell it across, right? When I say sell it, if you're talking about being your own boss, right? This is something that you need to do. If you are an influencer, what kind of content, Isabel, you're going to produce, right? It has to be specific, it has to be niche, it has to address a particular audience set. If it's lifestyle blogging, it is that, right? If it's mental well-being, it is that. If it's cooking, it's that. And then how you monetize from it, that is really important. Let's talk about the services sector, because I'm going to shut off this now because I want to see everybody. When I was doing this window and I was going entrepreneurial, my biggest concern was that these are the things that I needed, that I could possibly do. And I really wanted to work with preteens and teenagers to teach them entrepreneurship at an early stage, because I thought this was a missing link and kids were not being taught entrepreneurship. And I just took that one thing and I set up a company, and I wanted the company to work for that particular initiative. And I did that. I started building up on that because that was a tool that I had for me. And slowly and steadily, business started coming in. However, in a couple of months, I saw that I was getting another consultancy that was for something completely opposite, right? It was advising the government on some things. So I had to again recalibrate, but use that experience to reflect on a newer dimension. So, whichever my point in telling you this is that it's essentially whenever you are taking a huge decision, whether that's about investing into something, right? Whether it's about going into compounding, whether it's about networking, whether it is coming out of your comfort zone. Um, all of the things that you need to see it as a puzzle piece, and everything should be aiding you towards that growth, that area of growth, that area of expanding your horizons, and that area of making sure that you're contributing, you're looking good to yourself, and you're looking good to others as well. Does that make sense? Yeah.
The chat box,
I'm,
I think, shows
I'm
all the
going to,
reflections there as
I'm
well.
seeing that. There we go, Dr. KP. That's so wonderful. Exactly. When I first got to know you, Dr. KP, I can't see you. I wish you could open up the camera because I love seeing you. Um, I was like, Shazia, what is Dr. KP doing? There you go. What is Dr. KP doing? And she's an executive manager, and it's so lovely. But you see how you would have been like 10 years ago. You wouldn't have thought that this is where you are at. And you'd get the opportunity to travel the world. You were from hospital to shift to shift to shift, but then you get to take a trip. I heard a world trip that you took, a Europe trip that you took for like 2 months. So this is so good. This is essentially the power of, I think, realizing that taking the first step is the hardest, but as long as you understand whatever you are good with, it's I think job sorted. I remember, Isabel, your story from last time, and I was quoting it to somebody the other day, and I said it's such an inspirational story, and see how she turned her life around with a child, and just not giving up. So essentially, we learn from each other, and use that. I'll leave this tool with you. Just look it up, read articles on the Johari window. It's really going to impact all of your lives, I'm sure.
Thank you so much, Noor, for your wisdom today. I'm sure everybody benefited from the call. I can see that we have exceeded a little bit of our time, but it was great to share the tool. And so again, everybody will be back next week. And next week, Isabel Donoso is going to be on the call sharing her insights. So please join us. And thank you to everybody. Thank you for your participation. It means a lot, because active participation makes the success of the speaker, and also it shows you're taking something away. So thank you once again. Thank you, Noor, for sharing the tool, sharing your story, and I'm sure that everybody will take something away. So we look forward to reconnecting next week, next time, with another EmpowHer story. So thank you from myself. Thank you from, again, Noor. You have a closing phrase?
No,
Yes.
thank you so much, everybody. I think this was amazing, and I hope to see you all very soon.
And I'm just going to remove everybody's spotlight so we can just see everybody one more time, take a screenshot, and have a lovely day, morning, evening, wherever you are. Take care, and God bless you all.